Okay, I'm in Premiere Pro now, and I'm going to show you a little bit about titles. So I have some raw footage here of the San Francisco airport at night, and if I just run through this, it's a time lapse, and those little whizzy things are the planes flying in and out and all of that. I like that because it's kind of a dark sky, and you're able to do a lot with titles that way. So I'm just going to show you how the titler works in this video. Nothing special, just a static title. So to get a new title here, again, I'm in your project. We called your name and the date and the period in which you have the class. I'm going to go up here where it says Premiere Pro, and you have all these words. I'm going to go over to Title, New Title, and Default Still. Excuse me. And when I click on this, the default still is just a still title. It's not going to roll. It's not going to crawl up. It's not going to do any of that. So I'm going to click, and it's going to say, pretty much by default, you want to just say OK. But this is telling you, OK, your sequence is 1280 by 720. It's at 30 frames, basically a second. It's square pixels. You know, this is all correct. If you want to, you can name your title here. So I'm going to say Airport. I'm going to call it Airport. And all of a sudden, this title box opens up. And what this is a great title part of Premiere Pro. A lot of these things we're going to use in the next video to create a lower thirds title. But here's our selection tool. Okay, here's our rotation tool. We can rotate things. Here's our normal type tool. Here's a vertical type tool. Okay, here's an area. You can actually drag out an area to type in. Okay, here's a vertical area you can type in. Here's a path. You can create a path. Here's a pen tool. Okay, again, but for this, we're just going to create a simple title. So I'm going to grab my regular T tool right here and just click. And I'm going to say Airport, okay? And then I'm going to click on my selection tool. And I want to make Airport larger. So over here where it says Title Properties, I have all these different properties that I can deal with. Most of these you probably won't use too much. I am going to grab a certain text. Now, before I do that, down here are all these presets. These are things that are already kind of built for you. And you can change these around. Once you grab the preset, if I don't like that color, this is a gradient. Notice it goes from kind of a lighter yellow to a darker yellow. If I want to maybe, oh sorry, here. Darken that up a little bit. I can. Okay. So again, that's a 4 color. Let's do a radial gradient. Okay. So you can change again. You can grab some of these presets and then grab them. What I like to do though is, as I said, really kind of start from scratch. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab Arial. Here we go, Arial Black. And I'm not going to make the fill top, I'm going to make it solid. And right here, the fill is the fill of the color, the color inside the text. And I'm going to make it, oh, let's see here. I'll make it a white. Now here's the thing, is that with a fill color, you can actually create a line around the text, inside around the text or outside around the text. And it is called stroke. So if I add a couple, I can do the inside or the outside stroke just to show you. And let me just do an outside. Come on. There we go. And let me just do it just bright so you can see it. Now, again, you can kind of barely see it because the size is only 6. If I update that, I can get it, you know, just kind of showing you what the tools can do. And here's kind of a sample representation of what it does. Now, one of the things is my airport is not big enough, the words. So what I like to do is you can go up here to the sizing, the font size right here, and it starts at 100%, and I could do it that way. But what I like to do is use my selection tool that I already have with me, and watch, if I do it just normally, just grabbing with the selection tool, it can get all stretchy. And what I like to do is hold the shift key down while I use this key, and it will keep it in proportion. Okay? Now notice I want my airport in the middle. I'm going to keep it in the middle on top here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is there are 2 centering tools right here. And if I click on this one, it's going to center it vertically. Watch. It puts it down in the middle vertically. This one is the one I'm probably going to use for this, where it centers it horizontally. So again, I want it up. So let's say I put it over there, and then watch. When I center it horizontally, it will center it for me. Okay? And then once you're done, you can just click out of here. And there is our title right there. Now we don't have our title on our sequence right now, on our timeline. But what we can do is grab our title and place it on video 2. Now video 2. Now notice that it is set up for us. If we want to change it, just like I did just then, you can double click it and you can make some changes and then, you know, save it again. And it's saved there and also saved on the timeline. I can also stretch it if I want. Okay. So that's how to make kind of a basic title. Now, to get this thing to fade up and fade down, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to grab my tool here and zoom in a little bit. And I'm actually going to place it about 2 seconds. This is the 4-second mark right here. I'm going to take, put it about 2 seconds there. So you're going to have 2 seconds of video of the airport. And then I'm going to have this thing fade up. So I'm going to grab here. And this is our, see if you see that yellow line right there, that's our opacity line. And first of all, let me bring this thing back here. So we'll have it fade up for maybe 5 seconds. So it'll start about the 2-second mark, fade up for 5 seconds, and then go down. So let's just put it right at 8. And I'll put it maybe a little bit further. And now what I'm going to do is, now all I did was on the video 2 track, I clicked this little arrow right here. Okay, and what that does is it drops down and creates and shows me this little yellow line called the opacity line. Now what I'm going to do is to make that title go up and down, as you know, we're going to use the pen tool. And here's the pen tool right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 dots. One to start the fade up, and one to end the fade up. Okay, so there's my first dot that starts it, there's my second dot that ends it. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Maybe right there and right there. Okay, so again, I have 4 dots altogether. 2 to start it, it goes up, you see it, you read it, and then it fades down. You want to be able to read your titles slowly. So just think about the audience being able to spend enough time to read your title and just a little bit more. You never want to go too fast or too slow. There's nothing worse than a really slow title. So anyways, let's run through this thing. and I'll just press the space bar, and it fades up. You read it, and fades down. Okay, so that's intro to titles. Next thing we're going to do is a lower third. So, and then we'll go on from there. Thanks.